from Gold 47 side, so we're going to be watching the Stone Scar deck here. All right. So Gold 47, looking like a pretty sweet hand, to be honest. Got 3 power, 2 Nimble Conscripts, a Bandit Queen, and a Desecrate. It's been a while since we've seen Bandit Queen, but I really love that card. Every time Bandit Queen is played, it seems broken every time it's played.
Yeah, Bandit Queen just can swing a game so easily. You know, you think you have good blocks or you think you're winning a race. Bandit Queen comes down, gives everything quick draw, makes it a little bit stronger, and next thing you know, when you thought you were winning, you're in a really bad spot.
And I think they might be waiting on us. I apologize for that. Let me send 1 minute. Apologize for that. All right, and they are just about to get started here. So the Praxis deck that Marvin is playing is pretty interesting. So it's Praxis, but it's mostly time. So the only fire in the entire deck are Torch, Heart of the Vault, and Zhou. The rest of it is all straight time, including the market is all straight time. So pretty interesting to see that. It's almost a mono time deck with a splash of fire. So it'll be interesting to see that.
So how do you feel about shifting the Nimble Conscript on 2 when you do not have a 3-drop in hand?
I think it's fine. I think that you really like that unblockable damage and no way to interact with it. You also have your removal that you might be wanting to play on turn 3. Plus, if you can time it right, I have to see if I think you can time it with the Bandit Queen here next turn, which will be even more brutal. He's going to do it 1 turn early. So you're going to go ahead and go and fire off the Bandit Queen now, which is fine too. But yeah, you missed out on a couple points of damage there, but I think getting it there makes sense. Double Tokas by Marvin here. That's going to be a stop sign for gold for sure.
Well, apparently Marvin decides that they want to race. So, man. Flame Blast off the top is going to kill the defending Tokas. So we're going to get in for 9, putting Marvin at 12 and Gold 47 at 18.
Yeah, that was a bold attack there. I mean, I guess you weren't blocking the Nimble Conscripts anyway, but that was a pretty bold attack, leaving only 1 blocker back, knowing your deck is full of removal.
Especially after seeing a Bandit Queen.
Yeah. I mean, almost any non-power draw there in Gold 47's deck is going to get you through that. So, bold attack there by Marvin, but I think also seeing that maybe their best chance here is to race and then play a big unit.
Yeah, exactly. I think they might identify the fact that they don't have the necessarily tools to essentially wait too long, and so they'd rather just kind of increase their opportunity to get there. Interesting. All right, so they have a Torch. Torch to kill Bandit Queen. So now we're staring at a Nimble Conscript versus an Initiate of the Sands. Marvin at 9. Gold 47 at 18.
Praxis Arcanum here. Interesting.
Yeah, wow. It's been a little bit since we've seen that one. Typically, we've seen the Xenon Xenon site a lot more than the Praxis one.
And the Desecrate, the Desecrate going to be able to take out the Initiate and take out the site there. Do you like going after the site there versus hitting 3 to the face?
Oh, man. Having nothing in hand, I think it was the correct play because you're at the mercy at the top of your deck. And so you rather go for the surefire thing. It's a clear attack. The Nimble Conscripts has to get in there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If you had Burn or another unit in your hand, maybe you go face. But I do like getting the site off the board there to stop them from getting incremental advantage and card advantage.
This is interesting too. You play out the 3/4, but it's possible that you can shift that, knowing that you're going to get that 3 damage in 2 turns, and just switch to more of a burn plan. Now you play the 3/4 out. Now you have 2, but Marvin plays a blocker, or they don't have enough power to hit a Heart of the Vault, but they play a blocker. There you go. Look. Now, you normally see Diogo in the combo deck, but here in a straight Praxis creature and spell deck. What do you think of that?
I mean, it's a big body, and the ultimate will definitely seal the deal. Like, giving every unit in your deck being a big Praxis deck.
Oh, this is the other Diogo. My apologies. This is the other Diogo. My mistake.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, and there you go. Double Diogo now. So, I mean, granted, they're a long ways away from 8 power, but I mean, it's a great blocker. A 3/5 does some work.
It sure does, and that's going to take out one of the conscripts. I really wonder if at this point in the game with your opponent at 9, if you want to start shifting these. Although you also have to be able to survive. Being able to shift this, wait 3 turns, you might be dead on the backswing by doing that.
Yeah, I do agree with you, though. I think it would have probably been correct to shift that earlier, that nimble conscripts earlier, just to guarantee the damage. Ooh, and they bought him a torch, which, I mean, when you think about it, that might have been... No, they're going to be on a 3-turn clock. That's too slow. Because they would have been at 6. They have another shifted unit, and they have a torch. They could have essentially got there. But I think it might be a turn too slow if they had played it out that way.
I can see why Marvin wanted to attack earlier in the game, knowing that they have these huge blockers following up right behind it. I don't know if they really wanted to go to 9 and be that close, but yeah, I mean, they had some good blockers here. Although if Gold just draws a Flame Blast, it's going to be pretty close here. They're already at 8 power.
Yeah, I think you have to assume that the Stone Scar player is going to have at least one efficient removal spell to take out a big blocker. So maybe after that you can play something a little more aggressive, but I still think that was a very aggressive attack.
Okay, well, here you go. They did shift it. This is what I was talking about. They shifted the Crooked Alley Guide, which is going to be 3 damage to the face, unblockable, with an Obliterate in hand. So if there's no torch from Marvin's side to deal with this Alley Guide, they do have a virtual lethal damage on board.
It might be a little too slow, though, because they are going to block the Titan, but they're still taking 3 off the double Diogo. So that puts them at 6, which means they have multiple ways of dying next turn.
That is true. Now, if Marvin has nothing in hand, can they grab anything with the Smuggler to block or take out one of the Diogos to survive 1 turn and then kill Marvin on the next turn? It's close. But then they would have to lose the Obliterate, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, and they have a Shugo tactic, they have a No Blade, Suffocate. I mean, Suffocate would do it, but like you said, they'd have to sacrifice the Obliterate
to do it, which that's brutal.
And that's exactly what they do here. Take out one of the Diogos, they're going to chump block the Titan, and then that
wasn't going to happen anyway.
Well, that's just game. Yeah, that was a close one. I think it could have gone either way. Like that's where those small incremental advantages that you get, making a certain play here and there, really pays off. And I think that's the biggest difference with the Stone Scar deck versus the Skycrag burn deck that we saw earlier or last round, where relying on unit-based damage is effective to a point, but sometimes you draw your reach late game, and sometimes you draw it early game, and it doesn't line up correctly.
Yeah, and this is a rough hand that Gold47's looking at here. You've got only 1 power, and it's not a Shadow Sigil, so when 5 out of the 7 cards in your hand are dead, that's not really what you're looking for.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty easy mulligan. Oh, man, a little interesting. They do get 2 power here, 1 of each faction, but there is just basic sigils, so they're not going to be powering out their Champion of Chaos anytime soon, and you really want it to be at least a 4/4 when you play it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that card is so much better than it looks to. And you just look at it and you're like, all right, it's a 3/3 for 3 and it's got some extra text. But when you get this down with your influence, which that influence really isn't that bad for a 2-color deck, getting that down as a 5/5 Overwhelmed Deadly is just, it matches up so well against the removal in the format too. It's just really hard to deal with for any creatures, and it gets out of burn range.
So what do you use here? Do you use Desecrate or do you use Annihilate to take out the Tokas?
I think you use the Annihilate. I think you want to save the Desecrate. If they hit Heart of the Vault, you can take care of that. You're probably going to use both before they hit Heart of the Vault anyway, but I think you probably use the Annihilate there.
I think there's an argument, though, as far as being able to leave up Annihilate with it being fast speed and then Desecrate being slow. But I do agree there is also the trade-off of where Desecrate will 100% hit every unit they play versus Annihilate not. So I think there's arguments for either or.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a close one.
I do agree with you, though. Heart of the Vault being an issue, and anytime you see Praxis, you have to assume they're going to have Heart of the Vault.
Yeah.
So here's where we're running into that influence issue now, where they can play... Okay, they decide to go ahead and keep the board clear, keep their life total nice and high, and then wait to play the champion when they have triple influence to make it a 4/4 to keep it out of bolt range.
Yeah, that's a good play. You really don't want to lose your champion to bolt when you can avoid it. Awkward power here. It's a nice draw with the War Leader, but you can only play one spell this turn.
And they decided to go to the market, which is interesting. I think I might have been okay playing a champion here because it would have been a 4/4. Oh, I see what they're
There you
going
go. That's a
for.
good
Okay.
way to use your
Yeah.
power. Grab the
Yeah.
Suffocate, take care of Diogo there. It's nice. It's a smart
Yeah.
play. Good play by Gold there.
Yeah, and Marvin being at 5 power means that there's a chance that they're not going to be able to get in with the war leader anymore. So I think that's a good exchange.
Yeah, makes sense. Tokas here, pretty big stop sign, but you're going to be able to play out. You're going to get all your influence here, so you are going to have the 2/5/5 champions and a Flame Blast on top. That's a good draw for Gold. Gold's got a good position now, and Marvin with no plays.
Yeah, 8 power and not making a play really kind of makes me feel like they just have another power in their hand.
Yeah,
They're waiting. So
man,
we'll see.
suicide in the alley guide here. I
Yeah.
wonder if they're going to play the Flame Blast to finish off the. Yeah, they're just going to finish off the Tokas with it.
All
Now you
right.
got
Well, this
two
is a really
champions. Going to be
tough.
really hard to deal with. Now,
I was gonna say we're at 8 power as well, so they should they get a Diogo, they can ultimate it. But like I said, staring down 2/5/5 deadly overwhelm champions, time is ticking.
yeah. For those of you who don't know, the way that the Deadly and Overwhelm works is that the Deadly is enough to take care of the unit, and the Overwhelm will go over. So it's really hard to really block that at all. You put a 4 toughness unit, for a 4 health unit in front of it, it will continue to do the rest of the damage to the player. So Gold does take that one. So that's at 1-1 now. So this is going into Game 3, and again, this is a win and in for the top 4. So the winner of this game will win the match and will be a guaranteed spot, or pretty much guaranteed spot in the top 4. All right, Gold47, look at another 1 power hand. I don't think there's any way you can keep this one.
No, not at all. Especially not even having a 2-drop. There we go. This hand is significantly better.
Yeah, this is a good hand. No removal, but that's okay. You got good quality units. You got the power you need.
Oh, perfect. And now they have their 1, their 2, and their 3. So they're in much better shape. Yeah, Alley Guy just being a phenomenal unit. Being able to play it as a 3/3 for 3, it doesn't seem great and constructed, but the fact that you are able to play it on turn 1 and it comes with a scout is just huge for these aggressive decks, that their early curve is so important to their game plan. Oh, and a Bandit Queen off the top with 4 power in hand. So Gold has the perfect draw here if they want to. I mean, I guess they would probably want the Smuggler to be a piece of removal instead, but I mean, they have something to do on 3 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
They are missing their 3rd fire influence for the champion, but I mean, that may or may not be a thing.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. We see an early Praxis Arcanum coming down, adding some health to one of the Initiates of the Sands. So having 2 decent blockers on the board now. We'll see if this is enough to stabilize the onslaught from Gold47.
Now, the Arcanum will die next turn if they don't have a Torch, because the Ally Guide is going to be unblocked and take care of that. But that is a good play. And at this point in the game, Marvin the Imp being at 6 power with a board and at 25 health has got to be pretty happy with where they're at right now.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of synergy there. Rista going to get a Shadow Sigil that fuels her own ability, but can also be fuel for the Smuggler to go to the market. So we'll see. Ooh, Nash coming down with charge.
Brutal right there. That is a great draw from Marvin. Great play to give that charge. And all of a sudden, I mean, at 25 health, Gold's not even the aggressor anymore. They're not even the beatdown here, which is really bad with Rista that can't block.
Very much so. And man, and yeah, they definitely turned the corner. So here, I mean, I think at this point the site has done its duty. So if they want to go after it, then like fine, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, at this point that's fine. I mean, I guess if you had a torch, you might use it anyway just to clear a unit off, but there's not even a need to.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough spot for Gold47 to come back from. Of note, and we're going to get some chump blockers in the form of those 1/1 killers that Nash is going to make. Once we see an obelisk off the top, then maybe it'll be a little different. They can start trading, but until then, I mean, them being simply just chump blockers is fine to keep the life total nice and high. All right, deciding to get in while the getting's good, which I can kind of respect this here. Granted, the 1-5 is still able to block 3 of the 4 units attack.
Yeah. And they're
So,
actually going face here. They're just ignoring the site altogether.
yeah, I mean, I think giving what's left, give a unit deadly. I think that's kind of irrelevant right now.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
oh,
on the
never
killer,
mind.
it's not.
I stand corrected. Never mind. I stand
Yeah,
corrected.
yeah, we missed that, but you're right. Getting the 1/1 killer and giving it deadly, that's actually a sweet synergy there from Marvin.
Yeah, I totally missed that one, but yeah, right on.
Followed by
With my
another
luck,
Tokas. Wow. Gold's just really far behind here, unfortunately. Even sending Marvin's even ready to send in the 1/5. Doesn't care about blocking.
you know what's funny? That 1-5, I've actually played, I think on ladder, or at least in tournaments, I've seen that some decks actually run the Radiant Defender, I think it is, the 1-5 deadly that
Yep.
gains you 5 life when it comes into play out of the market, and I think that's some pretty sweet tech too.
And look at this. They twisted Tokas twice just to get in the 2 extra damage and put Gold to 1 with knowing that what can Gold really do? I mean, Rista can't block. They can at best play 2 units to chump block. I mean, Marvin saw the writing on the wall here and just went to town on Gold's life total.
Yeah, and I mean, even if they had a Flame Blast off the top, they swing with everything. They would probably block, I don't know, the Bandit Queen, I guess. So they would take 7. That puts them at 8. So yeah, even with a Flame Blast off the top, they wouldn't be able to take it here. I mean, there's no, yeah, they're just done. Yeah. Let me think. Let me see what's in their market. I don't think there was anything in the market. Suffocate. No blade. Obliterate. No, they wouldn't have had the power to play Obliterate to take out the Nash. So, yeah, that's going to seal the deal for Gold47, sadly. They just didn't have enough aggression early game. Those Togas working double as defenders and ramp really paid off for Marvin.
Yeah, and you know, in Gold's defense, I'm not sure there's a lot they could have done. There weren't really much decision points for them here where they could have done much different. I think Marvin just had a really nice draw that lined up well against Gold. They had what they needed. They had the good blockers. They had the oversized units that Time has. The Tokuses there were great, and a Heart of the Vault off the top to go ahead and seal it there. Well played by Marvin the Imp. So Marvin's going to be in. Well played there. Marvin will move to 3-0, but Gold47 still in good shape, going 2-1 and losing to the 1 seed at this point. Gold still got a really solid chance here.